at 11 stone 2 pound over 8 2-minute rounds. Introducing first of all to you in the blue corner with the white shorts from Chingford, Dean Barclay. And in the red corner with the gold shorts from Coventry, Kesem Clayton. At 1 o'clock today, Barclay scaled 11 stone 1.5 pound, and Clayton 11 stone exactly. Your referee for the contest, Tony Walker. Your timekeeper, Tom Rice.
Yeah, Clayton in the red corner. First round then, between these two, 8 rounds it's going to go, 8 2-minute rounds. Kesem Clayton from Coventry, he's the one in the yellow trunks, and Dean Barclay of Chingford, who's 23 and has had 6 contests, 4 wins, 1 draw and a defeat. Barclay, possibly just the taller man by an inch or so, a man with a very useful amateur record. He's coming back tonight after a 7-month layoff, so there might be a bit of ring rust in here, Charlie Mann.
Yeah, I think there will be. I think he'd be very, very nervous, more than ring rust, really. Coming back into the pro game against a fighter like Clayton.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Clayton's got the reputation of being a pretty good trader, and he's caused 1 or 2 upsets along the way, notably recently when he was in with Frank Warren's young hopeful, Brian Robinson, and he put Robinson down 4 times in that contest, did Clayton. So he's not really a man to be trifled with. It's a bit of a risk here for Barclay.
That's a bad fight to take, really, straight away from a comeback.
Barclay 23, Clayton a couple of years older, and in this opening round, pretty cagey.
Barclay looks pretty good, I suppose. You know, he's had that long layoff. I think it's a bit of a bad fight to have straight off, but he doesn't look bad at all.
Clayton made to miss there with that left hook, but I think the two of them really here in the initial stages, just feeling each other out in the first round. You'll know all about that, Charlie Magri. You've done that a few times, no doubt, down the years.
It's nerve-wracking coming back up to 7 months, but they look like they've got a lot of respect for each other. And I think this is going to turn out to be a very, very good contest.
There goes the bell to end pretty quiet first round. Could be an intriguing contest, though. It's aroused a fair bit of interest, this contest, I know, among the crowd here. What did you make of that opener?
I think that was very, very even. I think that's a draw round, it was.
There is Kesem Clayton, who's managed by Ron Gray. 1-8, drawn 1 and lost 4. That's his record. Coming in here at 11 stone. The match was made, let me remind you, at 11 stone 2. And in his corner, he's got Pat Byrne and son Paul. And he reckons tonight he's going to break Dean Barclay's back. Well, there is Barclay. Barclay, in fact, threatened to quit boxing 7 months ago. He was so disgusted with his performance in losing his only defeat to Ian Chandler, and he wanted to quit the ring, but he decided to think better of it. So here he is here tonight, and looking to get a win under his belt on the comeback trail. Barclay in the white, Clayton in the yellow.
I think Barclay was a little bit too good to retire, thinking about it. Looking at him, he looks a good class fighter.
Oh, that was a good right though from Clayton. He showed a bit of the power then that upset Brian Robinson in his last fight. Good right to the head. And that maybe just for a split second seemed to me shook Barclay's composure.
Well, I'll see that fight when he boxed that fella on the Warren Bill, and this is a very dangerous fight to take after 7 months out of the ring.
We shall see how dangerous as it progresses. And he's got to watch that right as Barclay, because Clayton has unloaded it twice into the head.
He's definitely dangerous with that right hand.
He's been out of range with the jab once or twice as Clayton, but that right looks the most potent weapon out in that ring tonight at the moment.
But that was the punch that put Robinson over twice, from what I saw of anyway, and he looks like he's doing the same thing to Barclay.
Here he tried it again. Luckily for Barclay, he was able to just bend down and let it go over his shoulder. Just as well for him that it did.
He shows it like Ian, doesn't he? He shows it, but he still connects.
This could be where the ring rust is showing for Barclay, not getting out the way of it.
Definitely. What he's doing is when he comes away from a clinch, he drops his left hand. Therefore, the right hand comes over the top.
So we could have something explosive in here tonight between these two. Shows all the signs of warming up. This is the second round, due to go 8. Clayton getting much the better of things in this second round.
Yes,
he certainly did. Barclay wanted to hold on. End of the second round, a meaningful look from Clayton gave Barclay at the end of it, as if to say, I had to go once or twice in that round, and I don't think Barclay would deny it. There is Barclay, Dean Barclay. 3 of his wins, 3 of his 4 wins have come inside the distance. That one defeat, you can see on the caption there, was against Ian Chandler. The draw against the useful Wally Swift Jr. But that was a very good round, very good second round for Kesem Clayton.
that's right. Barclay definitely needed that rest at the end of the round.
Here you can see some of the action again. There's that right. As Barclay going in reverse gear, out of range with the jab and whack, the right hand again, and that really was a powerful punch, and certainly I would say the most meaningful punch thrown in the contest so far.
Barclay's got to keep that left hand up.
Well, Clayton rather slowly come out to the third round. Little wave of apology. The stool's still in the ring. My goodness me. The bell sounded 10 seconds ago. The corner not too clever there. Barclay looking to shake off the ring rust. Clayton in the yellow, let me remind you, comes from Coventry and did a fair bit of training as an amateur with the famous Errol and Lloyd Christie, so that was obviously a pretty useful gym, and he probably learned a thing or two in that company, judging from the rights we saw in that previous round.
Well, you can see where he's getting all these punching from. You know, he's definitely rubs off on the training people like Christie's. They are very good, top-class professionals.
Getting that right in there from Kesem Clayton. Coventry, where he comes from, not so very far from Randolph, Turpin country, up in Leamington. Turpin, one of our world middleweight champions of old.
For 7 months out, Barclay's doing very, very well. He's taken him a bit of a long time to warm up there.
Still works with the jab there. But there's more power, isn't there, at the moment? More powerful look about Clayton.
Clayton looking very good. He's going to be a fighter to be careful of, really. I think they took this silly chance here in taking him on after 7 months out of the ring.
Barclay certainly had a very good amateur record, in fact an outstanding one, a member of the famous Repton amateur boxing club, 2 schoolboy British championships, 2 junior ABA titles, a National Association of Boys Club title, semi-finals of the senior ABAs and a Young England International, so the pedigree's there all right for Dean Barclay.
Well, Dean Barclay doing very well. He done really well at the end of that, man. He fought back there and he got out of trouble off the ropes, turned Clayton round, and he got back to the punches at the end.
Certainly a better round for him than the one before. There's Kesem Clayton, who had all that success with the right hand in round 2. But Barclay just beginning to come back more into it in round 3. So all the signs of an intriguing contest here.
Well, thinking about it, you know, Clayton, he only just boxed about 2 months ago, and Barclay only just came out from 7 months.
He's traditionally rubbed down between the rounds from his corner men, and a few instructions as well. No doubt to try and score that powder keg of a right hand.
I think they can see Barclay dropping his left hand, so they want to get the right hand on the top.
Goes trying to throw the right again. This time Barclay, who's no doubt sharpened up a bit after the 7-month layoff and a couple of rounds in the ring. The old reflex is no doubt coming back. He got him with a couple of good punches to the head there, did Barclay, in that exchange too. Signs that the former outstanding amateur's beginning to warm to the task here.
I'll tell you what, Ian, he doesn't look bad at all. I think if they could have got him a couple of fights on the way to this one, he would have done a lot better.
Certainly it's no easy comeback fight for young Dean Barclay. 23, comes from Chingford. So he of these two would be the local boy if either of them are here, because Clayton, as I've been telling you, comes from Coventry. Referee Tony Walker waves them back in. Oh, that's good work from Clayton.
You can see where Clayton gets his aggressive style from. It's sort of thing what Errol Christie does.
Christie, who is regarded as such an exciting middleweight prospect, but has come a bit of a cropper and his star's been on the wane. It just goes to show you, really, that you never can tell from a fighter's early record. It's when the big tests come out.
That's right, really. You know, they beat them along and they get loads of wins under the belt, and everyone relies on them. Then all of a sudden they get a defeat, and you don't realise what that takes out of a fight.
There's a little bit of blood in there somewhere. There's some I've noticed there on the neck of Kesem Clayton. Now, where is that blood coming from? A little bit of blood by the eye. Is it Barclay? Now, when they turn around, we'll get a better view perhaps in the corner.
No, Ian, it's coming from Barclay's nose. It's just coming from his nose, spreading over his face a bit.
Those are not the sort of cuts that boxers worry about too much. It's the eye cuts that do the damage, because the blood runs into the eye and obscures the vision.
Well, the nosebleed looks a lot worse than what it is if it gets spotted around your face.
There's Clayton, who's unmarked so far. See some more action from that round again now. There's Barclay in the white. That's quite nice right, and then a left as well. And cleverly, using all those old dazzling amateur skills of his, made Clayton miss with his right. So, a little sample there of Barclay's skills, undoubtedly skills they are too. Can he make them tell here tonight against this powerful Coventry boxer, Kesem Clayton, a useful pro?
Barclay looks a good fighter. To me, I think he should have had a warm-up fight before he took on Clayton.
Tough test for him, no doubt about that. Quite well regarded in the game, is Kesem Clayton.
Well, they must have fancied Barclay really to take the fight.
Barclay, who's managed by Darky Smith, well known in fight circles. Runs his own tricky business. And looking to make a few sparks fly tonight, Barclay. Really do it, though.
Very good exchange back from Barclay there. He caught him with a right hand and shot him.
Don't know what you think, Charlie, but possibly now Clayton's beginning to rely too much on that right hand and starting to telegraph it a little bit.
What he done with Robinson, I think he's relying on it too much a bit here, but Barclay's not a bad fighter at all.
Beginning to slip the punch quite regularly now.
Well, as the rounds go on, he'll get warmer into it, because he's been out 7 months. He needs more rounds.
Both of these boxers took this fight at fairly short notice, I can tell you. Good punches again to the head there from Clayton. He may not be the most scientific of boxers, or the more cultured of these two, but he's had his successes with those head punches. He's got through once or twice, and he did again there, right above us.
You've got to admire Barclay for the way he's fighting after 7 months. He's giving all sorts of trouble, really.
Intriguing contest. How would you be scoring it at the moment, Charlie, if you were the referee?
I've got Clayton. Barclay's doing all the work, but he's getting caught. He's getting caught over the top here. He can't take nothing away from Barclay, but Clayton's in front.
Just by virtue of the more powerful punching, really, early on in the contest particularly.
He's very, very dangerous with right hands, and he seems to be connecting with it more so than Barclay.
And there is Barclay in his corner, breathing just a little heavy, and why not? I mean, he's been out of the ring for 7 months. I asked his manager, Darky Smith, what he did while he was out of the ring and away, and he just said, well, he enjoyed himself. He's 23, why shouldn't he? That's
right, he's had a good amateur career. Seems to have a letter stuck on his back.
Yes, he certainly does. I don't know what the letter is or whether there's some sort of message inside, but now the referee, Tony Walker, spotted it, and he's peeled it off. I think it was off a ring corner post, we're told. It's a secret. There was no secret message inside the letter or anything like that. Back we get to the boxing. This is round 6. They're due to go 8. Light middleweight. Dean Barclay in the white from Chingford. Kesem Clayton in the yellow from Coventry. And a fascinating contest it is so far. A match between Clayton's power.
You can see the way Clayton's trying to open him up inside. He's getting his elbows inside Barclay's elbows and opening him up. Very interesting move.
Just a bit untidy out there at the moment, in the centre of the ring. Referee Tony Walker takes the chance to break them up. But you sense the crowd are quite involved in this one. It's a bit of a chess match, really, between the skills of Barclay and the power of Clayton.
Yeah, Barclay, I think, has put on a fantastic performance, considering he's been out so long. And, looks like he's getting into the fight later on.
Clayton starting to look just a little more tired in this round towards the end, breathing a little heavy. He's rushing in, that blood by the nose once again of Dean Barclay. Nothing to worry about though.
Clayton there, too many big punches, that's why he got tired towards the end.
I think they're both beginning to get just a little bit tired now. I think we possibly have seen the grandstand action in this one, and it might be down to a question of guts, courage, who can dredge deepest.
That's right. I think Clayton's relying on his punching a little bit too much, and he didn't have enough respect from Barclay's reputation.
Wonder what the cornermen are saying there to Kesem Clayton. Fitness could be a factor here. Remember, Barclay has been out of the ring for a while. Clayton in fairly regular action and in fairly recent action as well. He's the more experienced of the two of them.
I personally like the way Barclay's gone about the fight himself. Clayton's a very, very dangerous opponent, as you can see from his last performance.
Dean Barclay telling me before the contest here that he's confident that he's come out again for this round, and this time he's got a sort of wash bag or hygiene bag stuck to his back. I don't know what he's bringing into the ring with him, but the cornermen seem to be bearing gifts each time for each round. I wonder what they'll bring out for the next one. Quite extraordinary. I've never seen that happen before. Barclay quite oblivious of it as he goes about his work. Serious business in there for him, and it badly needs this comeback win tonight. But by no means certain of getting it here against Kesem Clayton, who again is looking to unload with those big punches, and to Barclay's credit, he's making Clayton miss with them?
Making Clayton work as well. He's really doing well. You know, 7 months out of the ring, it's a fantastic performance against his top-class opponent.
Good crowd in here in the York Hall. Minute gone in the round. Just 1 to go after this one. 2 of them breathing a little heavier than they were early on in the contest. Barclay getting certainly the better of that exchange. Picking his punches better. And making Clayton look just a little wild.
He got 3 good shots in there, Barclay, and he really did surprise Clayton.
We're into the last half a minute of this 7th round. Due to go 8.
Clayton's got some nice touches there, bringing them through the middle with his right uppercut.
I would think the referee's scorecard might be pretty interesting at this stage. Pretty close fight, this. Little tap there of mutual respect between the 2 of them, and the crowd enjoying this one.
I think it's a close fight. I've got Clayton just in front. You got him, but I personally think Clayton's just in front.
I'm going to chicken out. I think it's pretty tight at the moment. There's Clayton getting the treatment in the corner, and I think possibly we might see a very good finish here, an exciting finish, because I think both of them will know that it could depend on the last round, but we shall see.
It's definitely going to depend on the last round here, and I think Barclay's going to come all out that last round because the trainer's really telling him to work.
There's some action from the previous round, a little bit wild, some of it in there, none of the punches landing with too much snap, but there's a nice uppercut and then a good right too from Kesem Clayton.
That's been the punch all the way through the fight with Clayton.
Certainly been the most effective punch of the contest. Barclay here and there effective with his jab. He's looked to have the superior skills. They touch gloves, they come out for the 8th and final round. Barclay with the black stripe down his shorts.
They've got to work in close here now, I think. This last round, they've got to really put in all the work. Very close.
Clayton's had 4 defeats in his 13 fights, but that could be because he's been taking them at short notice, that sort of thing. There can be all sorts of reasons for that sort of record with a boxer. He looks fairly useful to me at possibly just sub-British Championship level.
It's a shame when a fighter has to take fights at short notice, and it's, you know, like, it's nice in a way if they can keep themselves fit in time for the fights.
Barclay getting in with a nice short little right to the head in that exchange.
I think Barclay need another fight after this and get a return on this one. I think he'll do better.
It was a risky fight to take on the way back in. Certainly when he'd been out of the ring that long, he could have been with something a little bit easier than Clayton, but who knows? Has he done enough to maybe get the decision?
He's done marvellous in the fight after 7 months out.
Just maybe the snappier work. Now Barclay beginning to go forward. He got him with a good right in there. For a moment there, Clayton wants to hold on those far ropes. There were certainly a couple of good head punches went in.
Gave his own treatment there with the right hand. Clayton can get him through with the right hand all the way through the fight, and now it's Barclay coming through at the end.
Has he done enough? We're about to find out. There it is. The 2 of them give each other a smile, and the referee has scored it a draw. What do you know?
That was definitely a good fight. Barclay needed that last round to get the draw.
It was a good draw too, wasn't it? Good decision.
Very good draw.
Well, I think probably Clayton just did enough in that last round. Or Barclay, I should say, in that last round. I made him win that one to make it all square for the draw. Charlie Macri and I were saying it was a pretty tight fight, and that's exactly the way it turned out. I think the crowd enjoyed it as well.
That last round turned it for Barclay. He done really well that last round. He caught him terrific.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, both boxers scored 78.5 points apiece. The referee has declared by a draw. Put your hands together.
78.5 points each. That means 3 rounds apiece with 2 even. And I think that's a very fair scorecard indeed. It's about the way that Charlie Mangry and I were seeing things. Good draw then, exciting contest, absorbing one at light middleweight between Dean Barclay and Kesem Clayton, a draw.